Hi, welcome to this video. A lot of students ask the same question, and I thought I would provide an answer as to what are the advantages and disadvantages of a course over doing apprenticeship. This is a fairly complex topic to discuss because there's many factors, and depending on who is doing the apprenticeship and who's providing the training course, makes it very difficult to compare two different things. So just to outlay the overall process of the apprenticeship program that has brought about the tattoo industry where it is today. So it's a very important part, and it's not something just easily written off. So in the last 200,000 years in development of the modern man, we learn things by teaching. So a parent would teach a child and so on, and an elder would teach the village members and so on. And so in the development of the tattoo industry, the same thing came about over a long period of time. So we have more than 5,500 years worth of references to how this process brought about education and training in the art of tattoo, body piercing, and the other fringe services that have sprung up in the last 100 years, like permanent makeup and so on. So why we're having this discussion is that we now live in a very fast society where we want instant gratification, whether it comes to take away food or the internet providing us with information that before would have taken 5 or 6 years of study and development, you can find in under 5 minutes on Google. So is there still a place for us to have apprenticeship programs, or is the way of the future courses? Okay, so the apprenticeship program been around for a very long time, but it has advantages and disadvantages. First of all, a major disadvantage is, can you find an apprenticeship? So you would have to go to your local shops and inquire whether they have a vacancy for an apprentice. And every tattoo trainer or every tattoo artist who trains an apprentice knows that the apprentice will leave you and will steal your customers and will go down the road. And some will say, oh, well, if you're any good at your profession, that's not going to worry you at all. Well, that's just completely a lie. So if you are any good at being a trainer and you teach your apprentice, and your apprentice is not better than you, then you didn't do a good job. Because every apprentice that I teach, my dream is that the person I teach takes all the knowledge that I have given them, which I've acquired from the master that trained me and my years of experience in this business. I provide all that for them, and then they go and learn their own things at their own pace after that. Well, I did a pretty poor job if they're not better than me. So they're going to open a shop down the road from my studio, and they're going to steal all my customers. Every tattoo artist knows this to be a fact. So trying to get an apprenticeship is difficult. You could produce a portfolio and you could present the portfolio to the artist. Perhaps if you well presented and you're a likable person, you might find it easier to become an apprentice. So there's a couple of routes, and perhaps you have a good friend who's a tattoo artist and is prepared to take you on as an apprentice. These things all happen, and if you can get an apprenticeship, then that is wonderful. Okay, so let's assume you can get an apprenticeship, what you need to know is that the learning experience in apprenticeship is very slow. So the artist is in no rush to teach you because you're working for free or little or no money. And in many apprenticeships around the world, you actually have to pay the tattoo artist for him to teach you, and get no pay for cleaning, making coffee, sweeping the floors, and a whole host of other services which you have to provide. The other thing that happens is you have a hands-on guidance, which is really nice. So you get a slow learning experience. This is an advantage because you will be able to gather up information and learn at a relatively gentle pace, and you will have hands-on guidance during this learning experience. So you could learn what you could learn in under 10 days across a 3-year period, and at the end of the 3-year period you will be extremely skilled at the tattoo process. So those are the advantages of doing the apprenticeship, as long as you don't have a fallout along the way and you get fired or thrown out of the tattoo shop. Because once you break an apprenticeship, it is extremely difficult to go to another shop and get someone who's prepared to take on someone else's apprentice. And generally, they phone the person up and say, why did you break the apprenticeship? And they will perhaps say you came to work late, or he was on drugs, or whatever the story may be. It will probably not be all beautiful roses, that what a wonderful person you are, and they fired you for no reason. So your chances of continuing in this industry is almost zero on the apprenticeship route. It sounds great as long as you go all the way. Okay, the disadvantages are, during your apprenticeship, you're earning next to nothing. Very few people in our modern lifestyle can last 3 years with virtually no money. So it's fine if you can stay with mom and dad, but still, in this day and age, every person who has left school needs to be earning money. So there's very few of us who have got parents that can afford to just let you coast along while you play with a art fantasy that you have. So the second thing that you need to understand as a disadvantage is that the tattoo artist has no structured learning. So there's no Bible, this is how you teach an apprentice, this is the apprenticeship program. So if you become an electrical apprentice, then in order for you to become a qualified electrician, the trainer has to undergo training, first of all, and secondly, there's a structured process of what he needs to be teaching you at what time. So he knows what you have to learn because there's an exam. But in the tattoo industry, there's no such thing. So as you go along, you may have a good trainer who can teach you a lot, or you could have someone who can just do good tattoos and has absolutely no skill at how to teach and has a very limited knowledge of why many of the thousands of things that are required to do a tattoo are being done. He may know what they are, but does he understand why they're done? And can he explain properly to his apprentice exactly what each and every procedure is done for? So these are some of the disadvantages. So you're going to waste time. Your apprenticeship is only as good as your master tattoo artist, which you cannot decide on how good his work is. He may be able to do, or she may be able to do a beautiful portrait tattoo, but that doesn't mean to say that they're going to teach you the correct things. Okay, many contracts, many apprenticeships involve a contract period where during the apprenticeship you would be indentured, so you would be virtually no pay or a small amount of pay, minimum wage payment, and then once you've finished the contract, you have to work it back. So invariably, most apprenticeship contracts involve a 5-year working plan. And then what you need to understand is this: once you have learned as much knowledge as you can get from this particular single person with their limited self-taught knowledge, or perhaps were trained by someone else who was self-taught, so have a very limited amount of knowledge, these people will be very unhappy when you leave. So the breakup between the apprentice and the master tattoo artist is very rarely amicable. So sometimes a couple of years later, you may be good friends. But at the time when you leave, there's 90% of the time you leave under a massive cloud. So it is not all roses to think that one day you would like to have your own business and you'll go and do an apprenticeship and you'll put in the time, and then you think one day you're going to be able to just go to the tattoo artist and say, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I'm now going to go and open a shop down the road and steal all your customers because I've been doing the tattoos for you and they've all got my phone number. They've been writing down my phone or put it in their phone and they phone me privately, and so I'm just going to go and steal all your customers now and go and open down the road. And expect him to be thrilled, pat you on the back and said, I wish you all the best in your future venture and I hope that you do really, really well. If you think that's what's going to happen, you could be in for a rude awakening. In our history, we've had people's legs broken, we've had people's shops burnt down, we've had all sorts. We even had one tattoo artist who was run over by his tattoo artist. The apprentice was run over by his tattoo artist because he opened down the road. So don't think a breakup in a tattoo marriage, which is what it is, when you go into a person's shop and for 3 years, 365 days a year, you're working in close proximity within 4 or 5 meters of a person. When you have the breakup, it's like going through a divorce. It can be really, really messy. Okay, so it has many advantages and disadvantages. So let's talk a little bit about doing a course, because that's what we do. Okay, and obviously I would be biased and not give you both sides of the argument. Okay, so I hope I am doing a just argument here and providing you with all the information that you need to make the correct choice. Okay, so when you go on a course, one, you can choose how good is the course. Does the people that are going to provide the training look like they know what they're doing? Is their website professional? Can I speak to them? Is it affordable? Even if it's not, I can make a plan to make it affordable because this is my dream. And how much time do I need to have off from work? How will this impact on me? Will they come and train me in my location so that I don't have to travel too far? So these are the sorts of things that you can choose. Whereas when you stay in a town that has 1 or 2 tattoo shops and you go into them and they say, sorry, no apprenticeships, how many years will you wait for a vacancy? And you could be waiting forever. Okay, so what are the advantages? Number one, when a person provides a training course as comprehensive as ours that took 20 years for us to accumulate knowledge and have opened over 22 shops and trained people on multiple continents from all different races and cultures and different people, we have accumulated a vast amount of knowledge that no individual tattoo artist anywhere in the world could possibly put together into a structured syllabus that we will run through each and every item step by step and not leave out a single item of knowledge which you need in order to begin this journey of yours. So that's the first important thing. Okay. Also, in all our lectures, we really strive to be unbiased. And I'll give you an example about master tattoo artists will mostly tell you that the coil machine is the best thing since sliced bread. But modern artists want to use rotary. So we try to present all our lectures about all the different equipment and different methods being used in an honest and unbiased way that you can make informed decisions which equipment and which methods of tattooing you would like to use, because there's not just one method of tattooing, but many. Okay, we provide hands-on guidance, we do practical training, and we also provide you with equipment, and we provide you with documentation, we provide you with software for designing tattoos in the shortest amount of time, and we provide all sorts of business related information with regards to marketing, licensing, health and safety, COVID-19 regulations, and all these types of things are covered in depth. Many of these things would be covered by an apprenticeship, but only if you were smart enough to select the information and remember it, because most of it you would do, but not necessarily have it in a structured format that you could go and open your own business and have all the things that you need. The big disadvantage with a course is that on a course that's 5 days, 6 days, or 7 days, there's a limited time that we can do practical training. So for example, in the tattoo training, we try to do as many as 5 practice tattoos, and this is done on synthetic skin, and 1 real life tattoo on a real life person. But obviously this doesn't compare to a 3-year apprenticeship program where at the end of 3 years you will have done a couple of 100 tattoos, all at virtually no pay, but at least you would have a well-rounded practical experience. And let's not lose sight of the fact that tattooing is a practical skill. So what we provide is, at the end of our course, we provide aftercare assistance. We provide you with methods for ongoing practical training. And because we live in this digital world, we can provide you with WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, Zoom, Skype, a whole lot of mediums that we can provide additional training. So I hope this video was helpful to you in evaluating for yourself the advantages and disadvantages of apprenticeships over courses. But be wary of people who are in this industry who will tell you you can't learn on a course. And then when you ask them, well, how did you learn? And you'll find out that they were self-taught. So they bought a kit on the internet, Wish, Amazon, eBay, one of those, and then they butchered themselves and have dreadful tattoos all over their body and butchered all their friends until eventually they learned sufficient skills from watching hundreds of YouTube videos and eventually got to a point where they could do a half-decent tattoo. I really hope that you don't go down this route and decide to either do an apprenticeship, or best still is to do a professional course, and then leaving that course, get lots of practice, and within a few weeks open your own business, whether it's from home or a studio.